And as Prince Charles recently stated, this is perhaps the greatest environmental disaster the world has ever known, and I couldn't possibly agree any more with Prince Charles. There's many facts about genetically modified organisms that people are just not aware of. Again, as Farron was talking about earlier, mainstream media will not tell us because they are in bed with Monsanto, in my opinion, one of the most evil corporations on planet Earth. I'd just like to go over a few facts here on genetically modified seeds, and this is a subject we will be reiterating on many broadcasts because due to its vastness and importance, as we feel here at the Real News Radio. One of the facts about genetically modified organisms is the fact that when they modify the genes of these organisms, they have to insert DNA from other organisms. And when they do that, in order to activate this newly inserted DNA, they have to also include a promoter gene to actually activate that new gene. And there's much speculation that all these promoter genes inserted are one of the primary reasons why cancer rates are just skyrocketing. That all these promoters, when they are absorbed into our bodies, actually promote growth.
And what you're referring to there is Prince Charles. It's estimated that 125,000 farmers in India have committed suicide because they were forced to use genetically altered seeds, and then for the last 2 years they've had record low harvest, just devastating their economy, and this goes totally unreported by the mainstream press. So yeah, it's something we feel very strongly about. We want to get some experts on, because most people, if you start talking to them about genetically altered seeds, genetically altered foods, they don't know what you're talking about.
They haven't heard anything about it, and there's many conflicts of interest here, Farron. I mean, we have Michael Taylor, an attorney from Monsanto, which was actually hired by the FDA. I mean, can we say conflict of interest here? To oversee what, of all things, genetically modified organisms.
Well, while we continue this discussion, let's go ahead and go to the phones. There's been some people calling. Before we were ready to go to the phones, there was a few things we wanted to get out of the way. So if you'd like to call in, 704-873-1400. Our Davie County number is 336-499-0681. Our website, therealnewsradio.com, has that video, and we only played a portion of it, so it's on our website. If you would like to, watch the whole thing, it's on our website, therealnewsradio.com. And again, you can email us on air at therealnewsradio.com. And again, I want to say that our time next week and from here on will be 10 a.m. So we've got our new time. We shouldn't be bounced around anymore. We'll be on at 10 to 11. I'd also, before we talk about the genetically altered seeds, mention that we're planning that there's a nationwide protest on November 22nd at all of the Federal Reserve banks. And of course, we have one here in Charlotte. We will be giving you the times. We'll have it on our website. But we invite everyone to join in November 22nd, the Federal Reserve in Charlotte. I'm not exactly sure where it's located.
It's 530 Trade Street.
Okay, and we will be getting with you on the times, but that is a nationwide protest. They're going to be protesting at all the different various branches, and there is a lot of branches. We've got a phone call. We'll go ahead to the phones. Hey, you're on the Real News?
Yeah, I've been listening all day, and a few things to say, just going back to what you were talking about, the corporate media.
Yes, sir.
Well, you've got, I think you said 6 major news corporations. You cover a lot of territory, but they're all CFR members, and even the corporations have been granted corporate CFR membership.
That's true. Yes, sir. That's right.
The Washington Post, the press, and they are, propagandizing us. They're all Bilderberg members, Trilateral Commission members, and let's not forget that the CFR is dedicated to the destruction of sovereign countries. Now, I don't mean like the buildings and all that, but they want a one-world government, and that's where they're working towards, the CFR.
I think it's very interesting what you bring up, that the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations, has corporate members such as, I believe, Pepsi, Philip Morris. There's a whole litany of them. And I also project that we're going to see the biggest amount of CFR members in the Obama administration that we've seen a long time in the presidency.
Well, I just want to jump down to Rahm Emanuel too. He is, he's a dual citizen of Israel.
Yes.
And the architect of major gun control. And there are a list, at least I've found at least 20 or 30 members of the Bush administration and of the people that Obama is courting that are dual citizens of Israel. And so they'll be, who are they going to be looking out for? Whose interest? They're not just Israelis, they're Zionists.
Well, certainly we're not going to be representing the interests of Iran here. I mean, certainly President Ahmadinejad must be cowering at this point.
Well, I don't know. They're wanting war with Iran, I believe. They're wanting it bad. Like you guys were just talking about Monsanto and those poor Iraqis over there and the Indians. Their suicide seeds. They're take over everything. The oil fields. It's the agenda is world domination, and they have stated, the world bankers, the Rothschilds, has referred to the masses as cattle to be slaughtered. So go figure.
Henry Kissinger, of course, referring to the military as dumb animals.
Well, as you just mentioned, the fact that our media is controlled by 6 corporations and they're all Council on Foreign Relations members, that's the reason stories like this, Monsanto and genetically altered seeds, go so unreported. We don't have a free press.
No, we're being manipulated, and if it wasn't for shows like yours, the local people, if they weren't turning into a few national shows to talk about this, wouldn't know any of it. Wouldn't even have a clue, and maybe a lot of them don't even know what you're talking about. You combine the suicide seeds and the genetically modified food, and earlier this year with the tomato deal with where some people apparently died from bad tomatoes, and they destroyed the tomato industry in Florida. $400 million worth of tomatoes destroyed. And we don't know if anybody died. That's just what they told us. They never produced any bodies. They came up with a thing that they're not only genetically modified tomatoes. When you go into the store, most of them are genetically modified. If you grab the tomato and you look at the tomato, the skin is pretty tough. Well, the genetically modified tomatoes are crossed with fly wings. They take flies and somehow, the scientists in the laboratories, and they cross the skin of tomatoes with fly wings. That's why they're so tough. And now they have come up, one of the rules now is that these vegetables have to be irradiated. So they're moving towards genetically modified and irradiating our food supply. And this here just tears down any kind of building up of immune system that we could have.
And then we also have the Roundup Ready seeds, which of course have been injected with DNA from, I believe it's bacteria, to resist Roundup, so they can spray Roundup all over the fields to supposedly kill all the weeds, and of course the plants are going to absorb that Roundup. We're actually eating plant poison, yeah.
Right. Have you guys heard about something? I've heard a report that they have actually had rats and different things eat these Roundup fruits and vegetables, these genetically modified Roundup-resistant fruits and vegetables, and it has killed the rats. And yet they give it to us.
Yes, I have heard that, and we're hoping to get Jeffrey Smith on here on the broadcast. He is the author of Seeds of Deception. He's been very outspoken on this subject, and he also has a DVD by the same title, which goes into this entire subject. If anyone wants to look that up, it's a great source.
The only way to combat this is for people to have their own gardens, community gardens. I read a report that when you go out to eat breakfast, the majority of the food on your plate travels 1,450 miles to reach you. So the only way to combat this is, one, for our government to do something about genetically altered seeds. See, they're able to patent life now. They patent these seeds. That's something that was unheard of years ago. And but the only way to combat it is that. Would you